I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Hello everyone, so you find us out on a nice little cruise, our first one in quite a while actually, because we have spent this summer doing a heck of a lot of work on our boat, but we are very, very nearly there, and once it is finished, I'm actually going to do another tour of this boat, because I did one when we first got it, but can't lie, A, our understanding of this boat, B, my professionalism and videography skills have improved, and C, I just think that we could do a much better video, but I want to do it once we've actually done all the work. There's actually a very good reason why we're doing all this work. You see, this is a very expensive toy. Very expensive toy. And so we've decided that we're actually going to sell her. Yeah. So, doing her up, getting her ready to sell. It's not a decision we take lightly, because, you know, days like today, yeah, it makes you want to keep her, really, you know, out on the rivers, having a nice little cruise. We've chosen a particular time today that there's not too many people out in hire craft, and so, well, there's just not too many people out in general, actually. I mean, looking forward, we are the only ones. There is a hire craft just around that bend, but they're way out of the way, and they seem to be pretty respectful actually. I mean, we passed a horse earlier and they really slowed down to go past it like you normally do if you're driving and you pass a horse on the road. So they're alright. And there's no other bugger about. So it's just a really nice little cruise. It's a bit overcast at the moment, but it tends to get like that around lunchtime-ish, and it is 1 o'clock exactly. Me and Doug, we've both got our Musto caps on, which we got in Portsmouth. Pop out banner for that playlist. And yeah, it's just a nice day out. We decided to head downriver today because very often we tend to go upriver. So I decided to go downriver today, and well, here we are, just coming in to Stokesby Ferry Inn pub just there. And well, I must say, I'm surprised at just how quiet it is. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, a lot of the people who'll be out on hire craft, they won't actually be out until a little bit later on, probably about 2ish to be precise. They've probably got an hour until a lot of them will come out. But even so, I'm surprised at how few people there are moored up there. And even along here, you know, we've been along here before, earlier in the season, and it's been absolutely heaving. There's only been 1 or 2 spaces. So I'm quite surprised at how quiet it is there. Anyway, coming out of Stokesby now, and we're continuing on downriver. Alrighty then, so we've just passed the Stracy Arms, and we're now coming past this windmill shop place. There's a sign for it there. Last shop and cafe. This is the last. Well, this is basically the last thing until you then actually get to Yarmouth. We're not actually going to go as far down as Yarmouth. In actual fact, we're thinking about spinning it around in a couple of minutes. But first, my mum, who has never actually been this far down, is just admiring the view, or say the view, not having a look at the fact that you got the Acle Strait right there.
I want to see whether it reopened after last night's accident.
Fair enough. What else is the question, isn't it?
Yep, it's flowing quite freely at the moment, actually.
The amount of times that you've driven along there, and yet you've never actually been past it on a boat.
I haven't, that's what I've done. It's the first time seeing it, the Acle Strait from the river.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's really weird though, you don't actually get it from the perspective of the river, but when you're driving along the Acle Strait, the river, it looks like all the boats are floating because the river's actually higher than the road. That's really quite weird, especially there's always boats moored down there. So, you know, there's always boats that just look like they're just floating. They're just floating in the air. But yeah, anyway, like I say, that's pretty much it now until Yarmouth. You haven't really got anything else down this stretch of river. We might spin round in a minute or two. You can see we're snacking away. It's not just me mum eating. Don't worry, I've eaten something as well. Obviously, I can't eat and vlog and helm a boat all at once. But yeah, so we've had a bite to eat. The sun's out as well. Everything's all good with the boat itself. The temperature's actually lower than when it started, so that's always a bonus. In fact, I say it's a bonus, that's always just a good thing. Forget being a bonus, that's just what we want. But yeah, just a nice little cruise. There you are, Stracy Arms is just in there. Yes. We've got some coffee on the go from Monsieur Dunk. Very nice. There you are, Stracy Arms Mill, that's what that is. And yeah, we're now on the way back upriver. Can't lie, pretty sure the tide's on the way out because, I mean, I've taken the revs down now to reduce the wash as we go past the moored boats, of course. But yeah, once we turn round, because we turned round by the way, once we turn round, put the throttle actually further forward than it was on the way down river, and yet we seem to be going slower despite the engine was working harder. So yeah, pretty sure the tide is on its way out. Alrighty then, so we're not even at Stokesby yet, and yet the amount of boats that I've seen coming the other way is something else. There's been loads, including one which had a rib, quite a big rib actually, towed behind it, and then some sort of sailing dinghy tied off to the starboard side of it. Okay, so turns out that we weren't the only ones who saw that actually, because, well, I opened up Facebook on my phone literally about 30 seconds ago, and the very first post that came up was this. As if that's the very first thing that pops up in my feed is a picture of a boat, which I also spotted out today. What he said. They're obviously very keen on boating, but yeah, there's just loads of boats coming past on the way back. But there's one that will come into shot any minute now. There's another one that's just in front of me. There's about 6 or 7 that have gone past just in the last sort of 3 or 4 minutes. Alright then, so back into Stokesby. Got the ferry in just coming up. A couple more boats along here, but still not that many. That being said though, there have been a lot of boats actually going past us. Still. I'm eating again, by the way, because you can't tell. But yeah, actually tell you one thing, right? I stood up to reach over and grab some grapes, because, you know, healthy. Ignore the amount of chocolate that I eat as well. Anyway, listen, I stood up, right, and I noticed just how small my life jacket feels. I mean, it's been quite a while since I wore it. In fact, I've maybe worn it once so far this year, but if I have, that was like several months ago. And yet, this feels so small on me. You know, before it used to come down to about there, whereas now it's all the way up here, and it doesn't feel quite right. But mind you, I suppose I've also worn it for ages, and so, you know, it wouldn't necessarily feel right because I'm not used to wearing it. But yeah, it definitely feels a lot smaller than last time I was wearing it. Should I say I feel a lot bigger? I don't know. As you can see, these two are chilling at the aft here. Mum's got a magazine out and Dunk's just enjoying the view in general. Very nice. That's a cute little thing, isn't it? Aqua Jeep. I've just seen a guy on a ride on mower some way over there, right? And it's just reminded me of just how much I just how much I long to go on a ride-on mower, to operate a ride-on mower. There's another hire craft coming this way, which also has a sailing boat attached to it and a rib. But the sailing boat is quite a big one actually, that is certainly no dinghy. Strange. Yeah, there you go, just there. It's quite a big boat, quite a big sailing boat attached to it. And it's also got a red duster on it, so plus looking at it in general, I'm sort of thinking, it looks like a private boat, so then why is it attached to a hire craft? Either way, Lucky Bugger can go sailing or cruising.
A few moments later.
Okay, so, change of plans. We've actually gone past our mooring now and are continuing on upstream with the intention of making it to South Walsham Broad. So yes, we've gone under Acle Bridge, you might be able to see that in the background there. Yeah, South Walsham is now our new destination. That's actually rather fitting. I'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later on. For now, we're actually passing a little rowing gig. Bloody hell, someone's in a hurry, which you can probably hear from all the spladooshing. He came roaring past. I think he slowed down a little bit now, but look at that. It's a private boat. It's a hire boat, yeah. Although there was just one guy and he was in a white shirt, so I thought, well, maybe he works for them, but then why would he be boating along like that? He'd know better, right?
Inside there, where I am, like fresh as that the weight hit the boat.
Well, hey, first time we've seen sails today. Can't lie, I'm actually quite surprised that we haven't seen a sailing boat yet, but anyway, that's the first one there. Okay, so got past the sailing boat. Can't lie, it didn't really seem to be moving particularly quickly, and Doug seems to reckon that he's going far too close into wind. Yeah, he just doesn't seem to be moving particularly. Actually, he's just tacked round now. He's going at a slight angle. You can see that the sails have now filled up with loads of wind now that he's at an angle. He's starting to go a bit quicker. That being said, it was a teeny bit tight getting past, because like, shall I go behind him? Because normally I would have gone behind him because he would have been over to the other side by the time we got there, but he was sort of, he just wasn't going that quickly, so I was like, okay then, I'll go in front of him, made it past, opened her up and whatnot. Nice, big old puff of diesel smoke everywhere, but yeah, I love to see it. Anyway, just going past Upton Dyke. Upton Dyke. Gotta be done. That's the kettle, by the way, that's not the boat like boiling over, or that's not the boat boiling over or anything, that's the kettle. Okay, so we've just passed yet another sort of picnic boat, although it did have a red duster on it, so I think it might be privately owned. But again, another one with a sailing boat tied to the side of it, and then also something else on the back. In fact, no, it had two powerboat dinghies on the back as well. Perhaps that's just the in thing now. I don't know. Maybe it's been that long since we were last out on the rivers that that's just become a thing without us knowing. I don't know. I don't get me wrong, I've seen plenty of like picnic boats and bigger hire craft with like a little rowing gig on the back that you can also put up a sail in and rig up to sail. But I've never seen a proper pucker big sailing cruiser like tied to the side of then a motor cruiser and then also other boats out the back. Strange. Okay, so I've just swapped the camera batteries over and gone to use the facilities, shall we say. First time this year, actually. That's the first time anybody, I don't think anybody's used the heads at all this year even.
But that's the first time you've been for a wheel, yeah.
Yeah, that was well. No. That's the first time that the heads have been used this year, because even when we've spent the day working, or spent the day on the boat working, we've just used the toilets that are actually at the mooring. So, you know, the heads ain't been used all year. Boy oh boy did it look like it until Doug cleaned it recently. Speaking of Doug, as you can probably tell, I'm not the helm right now. He is. Second sailing boat of the day is fast approaching. Gonna leave Duncan in charge of dealing with this one, just because why not. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna join Mum back here at the aft, because actually I remarked on this the other day, the amount of times that I've actually sat at the aft of this thing in the nearly 3 years that we've had it. Probably, well, you can certainly count on one hand, probably 2 or 3 occasions I've sat back here in the 3 years that we've had it.
Yeah, not often, have you?
No, I don't, because I'm usually up there.
But
Plus,
you enjoy being up there, don't you?
I do. I like being at the helm. Hey, up 2 for the price of 1 here. 2 sailor boats there. Then behind them is the 3rd mouth. Okay, so ended up being 3 for the price of 1 there. Yeah, 3rd one came round the bend and then actually went up River 3rd. But of course, none of them were an issue for a seasoned pro such as myself. Now the sun's sparkling rather nicely on the water. Look at that. There you go, can you see that? Probably not. Oh well, it's nice for us anyway. Bloody hell, there's a couple more there. Though to be fair, I don't blame them, because it is a nice day for a sail really. You got that breeze, that consistent breeze, but at the same time it's a lovely sunny day, so you know what, I don't blame them. But actually no, there's 3. There's 2 round here and there's another one further up that I can see. Fun. Right, that was a little bit of fun. Basically rounded a corner and there was a sailing boat, and a different one that I hadn't even spotted coming along, no problem. But then there was also a motor cruiser, wooden motor cruiser, so I tried to think how much work that takes to keep it looking nice. But anyway, that was then coming actually bombing along, but there was some poor little guy in a kayak right over on the bank, and he was getting, I thought he was going to fall out or something because he's bombing along that much because of this thing. Then there's a highcraft that's going a bit quick as well. And then there was this other really quite nice looking boat actually. It was pretty much all open, but it was quite long and narrow. But yeah, that was quite an interesting looking boat, and an equally interesting looking chap inside of it. To be fair, I usually tend to sort of put my hand up a wave or whatever, people in private boats. I do sometimes to highcraft. If I see them waving at me, then I'll be like, yeah, I'll return the favour. But whenever I see a private boat, I always wave to them, put my hand up or something. That geezer in there, he just sort of stared at me. He was staring at me before I put my hand up. I put my hand up, continued staring at me. He was staring at me with a smile on his face, but he didn't put his hand back up at me. And I've had a couple actually that I've sort of like waved to or whatever, and they've not waved back. So I think I'm just going to give up, to be honest. Oh, I can see the sail of a wherry way in the distance. Albion, I'm guessing. Oh, bugger. Looking at that, the wherry's a lot closer than I thought. In actual fact, I think it's just around this bend. I thought it was the other side of the South Walsham Cut, because it looked really far away. But no, we're about to encounter it just round this bend. St Bennett's Abbey there, which can only mean one thing. The cut for South Walsham is just in there. Alrighty then, so this is us on the cut to South Walsham. As you can see, got a big old sailing boat there, which looks like it's trying to goose wing. I just realised he's holding the foresail. The older you get, the quicker things seem to feel and quicker time seems to feel. And also, right, whenever you're out on a boat, actually, certainly for me, and I think, I don't know, maybe I speak for all of us here, but the concept of time just completely goes out the window when you're on the water. You know, an hour or 10 minutes, you know, you can't necessarily distinguish between them, but you don't really care whether you can or not. It's just nice being out on the water. But yeah, whenever we used to come along this cut, it always felt like it took forever, honestly. Whereas yeah, it doesn't actually feel like it's taking that long today. I mean, I can actually see the Broad from here. Here we go then, here is South Walsham Broad. And well, I think it's rather fitting that we're bringing our boat here on what is one of, if not maybe the last cruise we have out on her. Because we see, just over there is where she used to be moored. When we bought her, she was actually moored in one of these slots here. And we moved her to a different place, to a different mooring, because trying to get her in and out of that mooring over there was a right pain in the backside. It just always went really horribly wrong. So, you know, we wanted a side-on mooring which works a million times better for us. But yeah, it's rather fitting that we've brought her back to see where she was moored. And also, South Walsham is significant to this boat for another reason. You see, she was built here in South Walsham, and in actual fact, one of the guys who did a lot of work on this thing when it was moored here, yeah, he did his apprenticeship working on building these Bondon Elysian 27s. So when he did his apprenticeship, he may well have actually helped build this boat, you know, because they were, the place that they were built, I don't know whether it was there or it's somewhere along here where they were built, but yeah, I mean, you've got a little plaque down there, Bondon, South Walsham. So yes, it's rather fitting that we've brought her back here. And of course we've spent quite a bit of time out on this Broad, fishing, chilling, seeing ducks, including one called Keith, which actually incidentally is now what my watch picture is. Keith the duck. Yeah, and of course we've been up and down that cut God knows how many times. So yeah, it's rather fitting that we've brought her back here. And of course it is quite a nice place. The mooring we didn't like, but the place itself is very nice indeed. In fact, we even saw a couple otters, or no, an otter one time, which Duncan remarked on a few minutes ago. Saw an otter. Yeah, I didn't get any pictures of it, annoyingly, but because it was sort of there and then it was gone. But yeah, it was over there somewhere when we were at the mudway down and we were fishing. See all these memories of this place that we've got with this boat. How are you two doing? Good. You want a sun? Yeah, the sun's well and truly out now.
Yeah, I told you it would in the afternoon. Just the clouds over at lunchtime.
Yeah. You know, another reason why we're glad that we're not moored there anymore. There's a couple of boats there that had so much seagull stuff, seagull pup on them. Yeah, you know what, she's actually looking pretty blooming nice now. I would show you, but I'm going to save that for the tour. So you're going to have to stay tuned for that. But yeah, she is looking, she's probably looking the best she's looked for quite a few years. You know, as well as it being quite remarkable that I remember every single bend and every single point of interest along this cut, it's also pretty impressive that I can remember exactly how to steer and, you know, just throttle and whatnot. Not, well, for this cut, but also just in general as well. I mean, we haven't been out on this boat in ages, and the last time we did, we only went out a very short cruise. You know, we've not been out many times at all this year. We've not been out for particularly long. This is the longest cruise we've been out for this year, and yet here I am, perfectly comfortably and competently at the helm, doing my thing. Ice cream boat. Whee! Alrighty then, so we're now back out on the main river, and well, can't lie, the tide must definitely be going out, because, well, when I turned around, straight away I could feel the pull. And now that we're out on the river, it's even stronger, you know, you can feel that the tide is now working with the boat to get us down the river. You know, it seems to be going a heck of a lot quicker, even though the engine speed isn't going any quicker, technically, than it was coming up. We set the revs to exactly the same, but actually slightly less, because I've got it slightly under 14, I'm just supposed to slightly over. But yeah, we're definitely going a lot quicker now. But yeah, that was quite nice going back to South Walsham, actually, taking the boat back to where she was built, where she was moored for quite some time. Third mouth, by the looks of things, the wherry's up there, so I'm glad I'm not going down that way then. Anyway, that hire craft was in front of us. I'm glad they've come, because I was thinking, if we get round this bend, if we get past the third mouth, this little in front of us, and I'll go for my first overtake of the day. Because I've been very restrained today. I haven't overtaken anyone other than a couple of sailing boats. I've got past, well, you don't really overtake them as such, more getting past them. I've gone past a couple of sailing boats, but yeah, I haven't overtaken anyone as such today. And by the looks of things, I'm not going to be. There's no bugger about. Different geezer with a kayak and one other cruiser. Oh, and a sailing boat, which is tacking even though it's using its engine. I guess scrap that, he might actually be going into more. And then we've got another issue, because there's this tit. So I thought he was going to just keep coming straight at me then. He's going over to the other side now, but we've had a couple like that that sort of look like they're going to come just straight at us, but have then pulled over or moved over. This guy that's now coming along is absolutely bombing it along. Christ. Wait for it. Spladoosh. But actually, anyway, I wanted to talk about something speed related. There are a couple of private boats actually, one that was trying to overtake the other. One of them was quite a big cruiser like this, in fact it might have even been slightly bigger. And then another one was a far smaller little boat. And the big one was going to overtake the little one. However, the little one seemed to, I don't know whether it put the hammer down or something, but it looked like it was really going for it. It was creating one hell of a bow wave and everything. And then it did start pulling away from the boat that was trying to overtake it. But even so, this big cruiser, you know, you could see it was hardly struggling at all, and it was still keeping up. You know, this little boat wasn't gapping it by that much at all. So that was quite funny to watch. Yeah, you got somebody who's trying to overtake and who could do so effortlessly. There's this other boat that's really going for it, not letting this other boat overtake them. All sorts of fun and all sorts of things you see on the rivers, eh? Wouldn't be fun otherwise. Up to Dyke.
A few moments later.
Can't lie, that there wasn't the best timing when I did that, because the River Ranger was coming the other way, and so I'm trying to film and helm, and I sort of drifted over quite a bit. But no, all's fine, all's fine. And here we are now back at our mooring, after what was a very rather pleasant cruise indeed. It was really nice being out on this boat, you know, especially after the amount of work we've done. It's nice to actually go out for a change. Yeah, even if it may well be one of, if not our last cruise on her. I hope it's not our last, but it's definitely going to be one of our last, for sure. But anyway, that's a rather sad note to end on. So I'm going to go back to the happy bit about the fact that we took a boat back to her birthplace, back to South Walsham today. Let's end on a high. Right, thanks for watching, people. Till next one, bye for now.